to talk to a little girl. She was probably 3.5, 4 years old. And she says, I have monsters behind my eyes. And I said, how did the monsters get behind your eyes? And she said, I was watching TV and a commercial came up and a scary monster popped up and now he's behind my eyes. And I was very sad, and I was more so angry because I knew that I didn't have any power to help her, because it was her parents that allowed her to watch these things and get the monsters behind her eyes that upset her peace and her sleep. And now she has these imaginary figures that are upsetting her reality because there are no real monsters around. They're now just in her head, so they're going to be with her everywhere she goes. I suffered the same. When I was younger, I was introduced to scary movies through babysitters and younger people. I wasn't seeking them out. I didn't even know they existed, and I didn't want to watch them. But I was told that this is kind of the cool thing to do, and they were adult rated, R movies for adults only. So I thought, well, if I want to be an adult, then I'm going to have to watch these things, I guess. But they make me scared. I'm watching people be killed and all kinds of violence done with horrible perversions. But I would just sit there and like, I want to grow up. I want to be an adult, so I have to watch this. And my sleep was ruined from that point on. Every night I'd go to sleep, I was scared of the monsters under my bed and in my closet and behind the blinds and the window, and they were going to be coming in to get me. They were out in the dark. I had to sprint to the bathroom. I had to run back and dive onto my bed because they were going to grab me from underneath the bed. And these were all imaginary. They weren't real. It was all fantasy. But those images are so powerful, they get in your head. And even now, almost 40 years later, I'm still scared to go swim in the pond or a lake because that big shark Jaws is in there. We all know that he's not, but my mind doesn't know the difference. And that's how our brain gets wired when we're younger, to not know the difference between reality and fantasy because of this imagery that we're watching all the time. And it causes awful anxiety, and anxiety is burning you up with so much stress, and it'll always dump you off in depression. So anxiety and depression always go together. And when you've got so many fears in you, sometimes you feel like you don't even want to be alive anymore because you're so overwhelmed with fear and pain and panic. So I trust many of you have monsters behind your eyes. Sadly, many of these things cannot be unseen, especially as you go into deeper and darker adult content. And I know you know what I'm talking about. I don't even need to say the word. But these things are polluting. So you need to know that your soul is a vessel. And your eyes and your ears will bring in images into that vessel that will stay with you. And either the imagery or the words you hear will bring life or they will bring death. They will bring good or evil, right or wrong, joy or sorrow, peace or anxiety. So you have to protect yourself in what is coming into your life, in your eyes, in your ears, who comes in your world, in your house, in your room, the friends you keep time with. But how do you know when you're in a society that says that there is no right or wrong and you can do whatever you feel because that's freedom? Well, I'm here to tell you today it's not freedom. If you forfeit your conscience, which is the knowledge of good and evil, right and wrong, you will end up in a pit with fools doing things that are bringing horrific trauma and suffering into your life. A lot of unnecessary suffering. There's already enough suffering in this life, and you don't need to add to it. So I thought about what I could give you today to help you. This is a compass. A compass is when you're lost in the wilderness or the desert or a tundra, a blizzard. Well, you wouldn't be able to see in a blizzard, so this might not help. But a snow, like a wasteland, and you're lost and you're scared. You need to get out. And it wouldn't help for someone to say, doesn't matter which direction you're going, just do whatever you want. Just, it's all about what you feel. It's not going to help you get out of danger because you will die out there from starvation, from thirst, from wild animals, from the elements, the extreme temperatures. So you need a compass. How do you get out? So today I want to give you a moral compass to know the difference between right and wrong, good and bad, good and evil, because some things are truly evil. And many of you young people are in very evil things. And I don't want you to be around that stuff. So I want you to tuck this in your heart, in your mind, and everywhere you go, everything you do, every choice you make, every person you're around will be governed by this. Because this will always be in the direction of life and health and peace and goodness and positive outcomes. There can be times when we're fighting for what is true and good and revolutionaries, and you might end up in prison, but you're doing it for the right reasons. So it's always about doing everything for the right reasons, even if there are consequences that seem bad. I am very grateful for the people who suffered and died for the freedoms we have in this country. Simply because they suffered and died doesn't mean they did the wrong thing. On the contrary, they did the right thing. That's where discernment comes in, and we'll talk about that later. But for right now, I'll keep it simple. You need to know the difference between right and wrong. If you feel guilty when you do something, generally, that means you did something wrong. If you feel ashamed and you know you need to tell someone what you did, that's when you've done something wrong. But in our culture, they want to tell you, no, you can do whatever you want. That shame you feel, that's societal shaming you. And that's bad. Don't listen to them. You're free to do whatever you want. Don't let them control you. That's unloving. Love is love, they say. That is nonsense. So I'm telling you, son and daughter, I want you to get away from people who do not have a moral compass. They do not know what is right and wrong. They are leading themselves and you into corruption and pollution and getting monsters behind your eyes. And I'm giving you absolute permission and even a mandate, a loving mandate, that I do not want you to be around people like that. I want you to get away from people if they make fun of your modest clothing, if they make fun of you because you don't want to watch dirty images on the screen and they call you a sissy. I don't care. Get away from those people. They are not worthy of you. They are going to dive into ruin in their own lives, and they want to take you along. Because people are jealous of people who are doing the right thing. People want to take the righteousness from the righteous. They want to take the goodness away from the good. They want to take the truth away from the truth teller. Because they're jealous of you. They don't want you to succeed, because if you go in that way of good things, you will benefit. You will reap the reward. But if you go this dark way, this evil way, this bad way, you will end up reaping the consequences. The word consequences with sequence, with an order of events. If you do these bad things, you will be leading yourself into corruption and ruin and pollute yourself. And that pollution can feel like anxiety and depression and suicide. Fortunately, there's healing and forgiveness for the things that you've already been involved in that you didn't know. But now you know. You have a conscience, you have a knowledge to know what is good and evil, what is right and wrong. And I want you to honor that every single day. No matter what the consequences are, even if you have to be alone for a season, it's okay. My hope and prayer is you can find someone who will support you in this. And if you don't have anyone, you have Mama Jess. I am telling you, get away from those bullies, get away from those mean people, get away from people doing bad things. I want you to go do good, healthy, wholesome things so you sleep well at night. Your body feels good, your energy is up, and you're motivated to go live and find a good purpose in this life. If the others don't want to come along with you, well, then they're not worthy of you, because you're important to the world. Good, honest people, hardworking people are important to this world. The others are just nuisances, and they cause so much trouble, and I don't want you to be friends with them. They're not friends. Friends will have to prove themselves if they're worthy to be your friend. Okay, so you got your compass today. Go journal all of the things that you know you have done that were right and the things you've done that were wrong. And I want you to think about the things that make you feel good and innocent and pure and clean, not the things that make you feel guilty and ashamed and dirty. Those things are not going to be in your life. I want you to go do the positive things. and more your life will get better and better and better. Okay? I care about you, and I'm rooting for you. Okay, I'll talk with you soon. Bye-bye.